Hey, in today's video, we are talking about timing the stock market and should you try to time the stock market inside of the TSP. It's coming up next. Hey, my name is Mel Stubbs and I'm here on behalf of Retirement Benefits Institute talking to federal employees about their retirement system and better planning for retirement. Please like and subscribe if you like this information. Please share it with others that might find it useful. We want to bring good content to as many people as we can. In a recent CNBC article, they show a chart that shows why investors should never try and time the stock market. We're always tempted to do this, but what do the facts show? Well, Bank of America has quantified this for us. They have looked at the impact of missing the market's best days and the market's worst days of each decade. So if we zoom in here on the first two columns, this shows the straight up returns of the decades. You can see that the 1930s and the 2000s were negative for the decade. All the other decades were positive. Now, if you would have held steady all the way through the 100 years, you would have earned 17,715%. That's a crazy good return, but do remember this is 100 years. Now, if you excluded the 10 worst days of each decade, you can see the returns are far better. Not 17,000%, but over 3 million%. Now that's crazy, but that would be really hard to do. Now in the next column, it shows your returns if you'd have missed the 10 best days of the decade. Now these returns look horrible. Over 100 years, instead of earning 17,000%, you would have earned just 28%. Now let that sink in. If you'd have missed the 10 best days of each decade, you would have only earned 28% over 100 years. If you do the math and you take 28% and divide it by 100, you come up with 0.28% average a year. That's just barely better than 0.25% each year. Those are terrible returns. But here's what Bank of America found out. When stocks drop a lot, there's an impulse to sell. But they found that usually the best days happen after the worst days. So if you would have sold after the worst days, you never would have been there to receive the best days. So this is a lot more likely to happen. Missing the 10 worst days would be really hard to time. But missing the 10 best days, when they usually happen after a large drop and you have the impulse to sell, this is a lot more likely to happen. So in this study, they're showing that missing the best days really hurts. But let's look at this another way. I'm going to show you how sometimes your losses hurt you more than your gains help you. Let's say you have a $1,000 account. You take a 50% hit in 1 year. Your $1,000 is now down to $500. You lost 50%. Now next year, the stock market bounces back 50%. So now your $500 has increased to $750. Now for some people, they'll say, hey, 1 year I was down 50%, 1 year I was up 50%. Hey, I averaged 0. No, you didn't. Notice that you started with $1,000 and now you've got $750 because your losses hurt you more than your gains help you. So we don't want to miss out on really good days, but we also got to figure out how not to be hurt so bad by the really bad days. Now the TSP is set up more for a buy and hold strategy. You can't make unlimited trade after trade after trade in your account. Now if you are 59 and a half or older, or if you've already retired, you have the option of moving your money out into an IRA. There are a lot more options in an IRA. They have options where it can limit what you can lose. You don't have to just buy and hold, and if the stock market crashes, then you crash along with it. There are investments set up that can limit how much you can lose if you don't want to have so much risk in retirement. So if you're 59 and a half and over, if you've already retired, if you don't have the risk tolerance to just have a bunch of money in the stock market, like the C fund, for instance, there are options for you at that age or once you've retired. So if you want help and information on this, please reach out to Retirement Benefits Institute at retireinstitute.com or call the number on your screen. There are people there to talk to you, to answer your questions, and make sure that you are doing the best that you can in planning for retirement. My name is Mel Stubbs. Talk to you next time.